Trước hết là cảm ơn Chủ tịch Cộng đồng, cảm ơn thầy Khải. Đặc biệt là chúng tôi anh em với nhau cũng khoảng 25 năm thì trong ngày mà chúng tôi Khải hồi đó còn rất là nhỏ, bây giờ thì là Chủ tịch Cộng đồng. Khải có nhắc tôi là nói vài lời về bằng tiếng Anh với thế hệ trẻ, thì có lẽ là tôi sẽ bắt đầu nói vài câu bằng tiếng Anh, rồi sau đó thì tôi sẽ vào cái chương trình thẳng bằng tiếng Việt. First of all, I would like to thank you for your knowledge and your sympathy to the cause of Vietnam. And I recognize some American friends here, so I like to just recognize you. Thank you so much. If any one of you fought in Vietnam War, I remember when I was young, so many Americans come to Vietnam, help us out. We lost the war, but we didn't lose the cause. The cause is still there. And I believe one day, the blood American people shed in Vietnam will be honored openly, publicly. And one day we have a monument to honor, sacrifice that. The monument will be built in Vietnam free. So I just like to quick thank you for your contribution to the freedom of Vietnam. The war ended in 1975, but the fight for the freedom continued. And we will continue until Vietnam fully restore freedom and democracy. Khải có nhắc tôi nói vậy là bằng tiếng Anh cho các thế hệ trẻ. I just like to say some words very quickly to young audience in this event. You is very lucky. If you born 40 years ago, like many of middle-aged generation, you will be very different. So one thing never forget, each generation have their own responsibility for the country. 70 years ago, our grandparents of your fathers fought really hard. In my generation, I do my job here, try to send a message from the old generation to you. But one day, Vietnam become freedom or not, depending a lot in your efforts. So don't ever forget one thing is, Vietnamese community is very much different from the other community. The people from Iceland, from Scotland, from Italy, when they left their country, they come to US, only thing they mind is building the future. They have a past, but they don't carry the past along. They head into the future of their own future of their life. But your parent is different. Your grandparent is different. We carry the country. We carry the dream of the people did not finish in their life. And we try to complete that dream. Vietnam will become the freedom. And one day, you do everything you can to return that hardship your parents had to be suffering so many years. I want to tell you a little story I just read. Latvia is a country very far from us. Estonia is a country very far from us. And their country is only 2 million people. And how can they become independent? Not only independent, but become the very democratic country, very powerful economic country. And one most important thing is they get away from Russia domination for so many years, because their young generation continue the tradition to fight for freedom. I remember when 1990, this story like this, when Latvia became free. One reporter from New York Times come over and interviewed the young people. How you think about the country become the freedom? They say the one girl, 20-year-old girl, answer like this. So nothing important. That's the normal. Latvia always independent. I learned that from my parents and my grandparents. And most people who fought for the freedom of Latvia was never born in the free. The only change that country was a democracy in 1980, that 80 years before they become independent. So none of them is born on the free time, in the republic time. But they carry that responsibility in their life. They learn the history from their parents, and they know what they're gonna do. So most people who protest against Russia, so against the Soviet Union, don't know much about the freedom because they born most of their life was on the communists. But only thing they have in their mind is that Latvia is independent. Latvia is a democratic country. So same thing to you. You're born in this country. But don't forget that. Don't forget that when your parents come here, it was so difficult. Many of your parents have to work very minimum way to raise you up. What you have today, you become the engineer, you become a doctor, you become the PhD, all of you have now, it's not easy. Very, very hard. We live through so difficult time, so amazing of time. So don't forget that, and please continue to do anything you can to build your community here, to support for the freedom fighting going on now at this time in Vietnam. And whatever you do now will be carrying next generation. And like I said, it's my brothers sit here, they do everything they could. They did not complete their goal, but the goal will never stop. The goal carried to my generation. And one day, long as I live in this world, I will continue to fight for freedom of Vietnam. The life of a person go away very quick, just like the leaf drop on a tree. But the tree is still there. The tree never dies. So please, do anything you can to help out. Because we gotta die one day, right? So you gotta grow up. And you may go away someday. Your children grow up. But the waters and the rivers still running in your mind, just like the Vietnamese history. We fought so hard in 1,000 years. There was no internet by that time, no Facebook by that time. Nothing. One village to another village take day and day to get over. But our ancestors still fought hard. And Vietnam, independent country. So please, do anything you can. Get together. You don't need to do the big one. You don't need to do the big project. Just a little thing. It's just a drop of water. The drop of water makes the river. The drop of water makes the ocean. So don't try to think anything too big. Try the little thing. In small community, small house, small village, and one day Vietnam will become freedom again. I apologize, the next one will be fully in Vietnamese. I know I'm going to give a lot of time if I do both languages. So I think they don't want me to do that.